Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm mrmatera, and what I love to do is talk about bringing joy to the journey of our classrooms and our lives. I share out lots of different ideas. I'm sort of best known for gamification, which is definitely playful and joyous and something that I want you to think about. Today's whole video is going to be more of a vlog. So a vlog is sort of where I go over my thoughts and my ideas of different things. On this channel, you'll see down below different sort of playlists, and vlogs one of them where you can kind of see my thoughts, and then there are teacher tips, gamification tips, crew questions, random reels. Random reels is when I don't know where it sort of fits in the others. Some of you kind of love all this content and check it out. Some of you just like certain playlists, so you know, look for what you need from this channel. But ultimately, this whole thing is about finding that joy in the journey of life, journey of our classroom. Today's video, like I said, is going to be a vlog. It is going to be about my first week. Today is sort of my first day of the second week, and I kind of wanted to reflect and think about that first week, and I wanted to have you along for that. So if that sounds like something you want, stick around. Thank you for sticking around. It means a lot. As always, guys, push that subscribe button right here to really be a part of this channel. Also, would love it if you guys get in that habit of sort of leaving some comments, some tidbits, some things that you thought about, resources you want to share, just overall comments. It really helps the channel. It helps each other because other people are thinking the same thing. And I'll be honest, it helps me kind of keep wanting to create more content. So without further ado, let's sort of talk about it. That first week, right? The nervous energies, we all have them as teachers. You know, you're sort of worried about meeting those kids, wanting it to be just right. What I want you to think about, many of you probably have already started your first week, but you know, if you're watching this before starting your week or before second semester or you know, next year sometime, this is YouTube, you can watch it anytime. I want you to be present in that moment. You're a professional, you've either done this for years and this is your like 17th first day, or it is your first day, and either one of those people, it's nerve-wracking for. But I want you to sort of just stop for a moment, take a deep breath, you know, and think about the fact that you are a professional. You're trained for this, you've done this. These are kids that have also trained for this and done this, unless I guess you're a kindergarten teacher or first grade teacher. Then you're sort of imparting that culture of what school's like, which is equally exciting. And ultimately, the suggestion I'd have for you on that first day anyways is don't go through your syllabus and whatnot. Make it something that's interactive. Make it something that's going to tell you something about the students. They're going to leave a piece of themselves in that lesson for you. First day for me was awesome, and I did something new this year. I was on Twitter and I found Quinn Rollins. Quinn Rollins is a good friend of mine, also history teacher. He's going back to the classroom. I'll link up above an episode of Well Played where we talk about him going back to the classroom and kind of his nervous energies. It definitely works here, but also his excitement. So we've taken this breather. We know we can do this, and because of the power of being a connected educator, I'm finding some great lessons and some great stuff. Quinn Rollins posts his first day idea for going back into the classroom. He's going to give kids 7 Lego pieces, and they have to design something that represents them, and then they added it to sort of this Lego wall. I did that same thing. They had to go around and explain what they made, so I got to know a little bit about them, but I also got to see and observe how they use this sort of work time. I'm going around and I'm being relational with the students, asking them what they're making, telling them a little bit about myself when they share something that sort of connects to my world. I get to ask follow-up questions about their world, about their little design in private, but then again, the whole class gets to go around and kind of share that moment. Then the next thing he did was he did a build where they had to answer the question, what is history to them? And they could use any amount of Legos. So each of my tables had a bin of Legos, and they're creating, some people made something iconic like the Colosseum, others made something more metaphoric like a watch to say the sort of time. this was awesome to me, because what I got to do then is that push, that middle school teacher, probably high school teacher push to sort of go through your syllabus and want to tell them all the rights and the wrongs. I was able to embed that a little bit into this lesson, and it didn't seem so boring. It seemed more complimentary. What I got to do is, when kids would share their experiences, their what is histories, I would sometimes come back with these little like hints, these little tips for how to do my class, where I might compliment a student for taking the time to add that bit of detail. Another student finished with one design. They made this sort of Colosseum, and then they went on to go make a second piece, and I got to say, hey, like Sarah here had extra time, and instead of just saying I'm done, she dove in and did another one. Thank you, Sarah. And in this class, I'm always looking for you to do the best you can do. And so I'm modeling that for students. I'm saying that to Sarah, but really I'm saying that to the class, right? Another student took the time to find to sort of color coordinate their pieces so it just looked super sharp. And I got to say, hey, thanks, Jim, for taking that time to find those extra pieces. And I shared with them all that sometimes you don't have that time. Sometimes you have a 3-minute build and it's more about what you construct. Other times you have the time to take that, extra step and care about the quality, both in terms of the look and the content. So thank you very much. And they're all seeing this. They're observing what I care about as a teacher. So now they know I care about the looks. Now they know I care about going that extra mile without sort of reading through a boring sort of syllabus-like thing. I got to comment about how they did group work and how they were helpful to each other. I got to comment on how they picked up their Legos and left the room clean and orderly. So I got to say a lot of syllabus-y sort of things without saying it. That sort of helps, and I think that you want to think about that, because ultimately, and I've said it time and time again on this channel, it's about building relationships. So if you're taking that time to build relationships, you're inviting them to answer some questions, some open-ended, they can't get them wrong questions, and they get to leave a little piece of themselves based on what represents them, but also what history means to them. I think it's a great first day. So thank you so much, Quinn, for sharing that, because I did it and it was a fantastic lesson. I did that little twist about sort of embedding some of my syllabus inside it. Worked wonderfully. Okay, next thing that I did that I absolutely loved is I changed up sort of a handout. Actually, I usually didn't necessarily have a handout. I had the student contract that they had to sign, and I got this idea from Real Rap from Reynolds, another YouTuber I absolutely love. I hope you check him out. He has this one sheet, and I pretty much stole his idea of this one sheet, but the best piece of his one sheet, right? He has a box for rules, he has a box for missing homework. I have all that stuff, and that's normal, check. But what he had was one simple rule, and I absolutely love it, and so I stole that. His rule is give respect, get respect, and I just think this is genius. I'll probably vlog about it on another day, really kind of breaking it down and why it's super important. But in the past, I've done his speech. He sort of says, kids, you've all heard this a million times. You know what makes a good classroom. I've done that speech where I don't go through all my lists. That's boring. They know how to be respectful on this. But I love that he actually does take the time to have one rule. And that's kind of where I didn't do it before. I just sort of told them they know what to do because they've done it before. And this one rule, give respect, get respect. I love it. And it's been wonderful in conversation with students about giving respect to each other in order to get respect. So what that looked like was when we broke into guilds for the first time. Before we did that, I said stop, and I told them what you need to do is give and get respect. So what's going to happen is they get into their guilds by deck of cards. I just mix them up, and boom, you're on the spades table, you're on the hearts table. And what I don't want to see, I wanted to be with so-and-so. Because what you're saying to these people is you don't want to be with them. Are you giving respect to them? And they were like, no, that wouldn't be respectful. And I said, you know what's going to happen is 3 weeks from now, you're going to be working on some sort of project, some sort of task, and you're going to say Jimmy is not being respectful to me. He's not listening. He's kind of just sitting there doing his own thing. And what you're not going to remember is 3 weeks before, you disrespected Jimmy. You made it quite public. You didn't want to be there. You didn't want to be with him. You wanted to be with that other table. So we have to remember that like people are watching. You are constantly impacting other people's feelings. You are a leader. People are listening and following to each and every one of you. And like you could just see in the classroom this shift of thinking that everything matters, that how they act matters on a daily basis. It was really powerful, really awesome. And I've already heard other students use that language about giving and getting respect. In our advising program, we had to come up with rules for our advisory, and they got in a circle and they all ultimately said, Mr. Matera, I really like your give respect, get respect, because it sums it up. And I loved it. So thank you very much, Real Rap with Reynolds. That was a fantastic sort of one rule, and it's so powerful of a rule. It's so easy, but I like the duality of it. It's not just like be nice. I like that there's almost the consequence, right? It's give respect, get respect. If you want to get respect, if that's the problem you're having, ask yourself, are you giving respect, right? And if you are, if you're giving respect, then we ultimately have to look at why aren't you getting respect? Something happened in the class, we need to have that discussion. So I love it, thank you so much. But those were my two big shifts this year. Definitely having the one pager, definitely having that give and get respect rule that has worked out really well in this first year. And my other big shift was that first day difference. And I've always done a fun activity on the first day, usually a team building, but I really liked this because it blended both my content as well as a bit of themselves. So anyways, this was a super long vlog. They're not always this long. If you hung on this long, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. As always, love to have a comment below. And to tee it up for you, I have a question. I have a question for you. What was one of your favorite sort of first day activities, team building activities? If you happen to have like a link, you can share it in there, just sort of copy and paste it into the thing. But share your first day, your first week, how you like to introduce yourselves. I think that would help everyone on the channel. There's lots of people that are looking at these things and watching them later. So put it there, curate it just below the video. Thank you very much for tweeting about it and all those other things, but those just sort of flitter away. It's really powerful when you put it in the comments because then it's there for other people to learn from. And that's ultimately what I want to do, is have us learn from each other. As always, it is an honor having you be here. I try to post something every week. This is this week's first video. I believe we're going to have a second one. So until next time, you guys have a great day.